John comes in with a great question on CPU upgrades, and we do love our CPU upgrades, and this is AM4, and AM4 is one of the best deals of the past 10 years because you can upgrade from a Ryzen 3 1200 to a Ryzen 9 5950X, all on the same motherboard, but preferably not a $49 B350 from 2017. But that's not the point of this.
No. John says his dad has a 4070 Ti and a Ryzen 7 5800X. He's on a 1440p, 165Hz monitor playing Call of Duty Battlefield. Should he switch it to a 5800X3D, sell and buy? $100 Euro difference.
Today's video is brought to you by Green Man Gaming, your source for awesome PC game deals. Save on AAA games and classic indie titles with discounts over 90% in some cases. More details after the video.
If you had come to me before you bought the 5800X, you are the exception. I actually would have said, yeah, sure, you could spring for it. Like, say he had a 2700X and he was upgrading. Call of Duty and Battlefield, 165 frames a second. Now, he didn't say his GPU, does it? 4070 Ti. Yeah, that's enough. So he's got a 4070 Ti. I could see the extra $100 for a 5800X3D. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have not been a fan of the 3D chips nearly as much as some of my fellow reviewers have been, because they like to test it at 1080p with a 4090, which is stupid.
On a clean test bench.
Raise your hand if you would buy a 4090 to play games at 1080p high detail with a 5800X3D so that you could show off your 1% low scores. I cannot roll my eyes hard enough of that. Look, I know why reviewers do it. Well, but tech, we have to show off how well the CPU's performance really is. So using a 4090 at 1080p lets us demonstrate the raw, pure gaming performance that is underlying, that is potentially available at some point in the future. Yeah, maybe a 6070 in 4 years from now, maybe. Yeah, but then you've upgraded the CPU, or you should have. It is such a stretch. It irritates me to no end. Now, having said that, this is not John's situation. John's situation is where it belongs. He's got a 4070 Ti. He's got a 1440p, 165Hz monitor, and games like Call of Duty and Battlefield do benefit from the 3D chip given enough graphics card. Now, I also would have told him to buy a 4080 at the least, and frankly, I hate to say this, a 4090, but I would buy a 4080 for the 16 gigs of VRAM, and just frankly, it's got more oomph, and it's not that, it's like $200 more. Well, it depends on when he bought it. If he bought it at launch, the price gap was a little bit more. Here's the problem. He already owns a 5800X.
I know. And it's probably working and stable.
Yeah.
And undoing that for $100, ooh.
The price isn't bad. If you can sell your current chip and you can upgrade for €100, €100 at the moment, pretty close, same thing.
Yeah.
That's about the price difference if you'd bought them new. I am not a fan of changing out CPUs and major components when you have a working machine.
I know.
Save that money for an upgrade that gives you a wow factor. Now, to be fair, in that particular circumstance, a 5800X3D would be faster. But it is not going to be blow your socks off.
For $100, it's not going to blow your skirt out. And then you have to risk having problems with it.
If you really want to play those games at a stable, solid, consistent 165 frames per second, more GPU wouldn't hurt.
No.
And a 7800X3D wouldn't hurt.
Yep.
And I don't normally recommend a 7800X3D, which is why I would buy a 7950X3D. And before everybody says, well, you don't need 16 cores for those games, it doesn't hurt, especially Battlefield, which really will use a lot of cores. But putting that aside, what's the price difference between a 7800X3D and a 7950X3D right now?
$100?
150. So for $150, you slap on a whole extra 8 Zen 4 cores.
So do you recommend he just keep this, and then when it's
Keep this one more year. Yeah.
And then just do a whole complete
When
upgrade.
Zen 5 comes out or when Arrow Lake comes out, just do the entire upgrade.
A new Christmas present.
Next year. But if you are annoyed with it and you want an upgrade, €100 is not bad. You will get some benefit. I think you'll be, if you're expecting it to transform it, it'll be better. But with a 4070 Ti, I don't think you're going to be wowed. You're going to be like,
That's
I guess
nice.
it's nicer. Yeah, it's okay. It's a little better.
Yeah.
The 3D chips are awesome when they're awesome and they're not when they're not. Where the 3D chips really make a difference is when you are not graphics card bound and you're playing a game at high frame rate
Yep.
and you are CPU bound. And a 4070 Ti at 1440p in those games. Now, if it was a 4090, then yes, the 5800X3D would make sense. But if you've got $1,600 4090 money, you might as well upgrade the whole thing.
Correct.
That's an interesting one.
It is. It is an interesting quandary.
I wouldn't criticize him for doing it, but I wouldn't encourage him to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a don't mess with a working machine until you're prepared to build a new machine. Do you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think you nailed it.
Is that pretty much it? Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's helpful, John.
Green Man Gaming is a game seller that offers publisher-sourced game keys at incredible prices. This is not a key reselling site. Everything here is 100% direct from the publishers. Green Man Gaming has been in business for 10 years selling discounted game keys, famous for their publisher sales, where almost everything from a specific publisher is on sale at once. Green Man Gaming offers deep discounts on older games as well as fair discounts on brand new ones, sometimes as much as 25% off pre-orders. Now you may be wondering, how do they do this when the same game is full price on Steam? Simple. They are passing on part of their cut to you as the customer. It is typical for 70% of the purchase price to go to the publisher and 30% to go to the retailer. So if Green Man Gaming offers a 22% discount on a brand new game, that's basically them passing their cut over to you. For new release games, AAA games, and major publisher titles, Green Man Gaming has been our very own primary source for games in the past few years, and we recommend them for your own game library as well. The link in the video description is an affiliate link, and using it pays us a small commission at no extra cost to you. It's a great way to support us while getting awesome deals on games.